question number 3 that I want to look at is, many of you, or scenario 3 I shall say, many of you, you came and said, I went in and I saw this and I handled that and I came against this and I came against that. And now I feel like, I don't know what happened, but this last week was so difficult for me. I feel physically run down. I feel things are just not going right anymore. And yes, I somehow have the feeling that I have overstepped my boundaries. Okay, again, let me remind you, you never go into warfare unless God is leading you into warfare. It is not you who decides, I'm going to do war against the enemy now. It's the Lord on the white horse that leads you on into battle. And if he's not leading you this way, you ain't going there. All right? Otherwise, it's like you run on the battlefield with your flag or your white flag and say, woohoo, I am here, enemy, I come against you. And you're all by yourself. And guess what? The enemy will zoom in on you. So the question here is, what can I do when I realize that I have overstepped, that I overstepped in this situation? What do I do when I went into the territory that I shouldn't have gone into, and now I feel it's too much for me to handle? Right. Can I still do something? Absolutely. The moment you realize, I should not have done that. I should not have gone into this direction. When you get that uneasy feeling within and you know that was not God leading you, in that very moment, I want you to stop. When you are aware of it, immediately stop. Do not go further into it. It's almost like as if you walked on God's path while you are on your shift, while you prayed, and now you step off that path. So we're not going to keep on walking around it in that field because we are now busy walking in the mud. No, you go back onto the path that God has for you. You step back and get back on with what He's trying to do. Ask the Lord for forgiveness and get back under His protection, okay? Because He's leading you. It's really not your part. He holds the plan in His hands, and all you got to do is follow Him. Listen to His voice and follow Him. And then when you have made right with the Lord, I want you to close every open door that you have given to the enemy, and that has given license now to the enemy to come and attack you. I don't want you to feel horrible about it. I don't want you to feel accused about it. I don't want you to feel like, wow, I missed it so badly. All right, you will probably have gotten a fright along the way if that happened to you, because you will pretty much know that you should not have gone there, right? So learn from it. It's part of being on the prayer wall. It's part of growing in prophetic ministry. You know what? You learn best by making certain mistakes and knowing I should not do this again until God leads me this way, right? And yes, just get back up again, make right with the Lord, and back off from this. Wait until you know that God is leading you this way. When God leads you in a certain way like this, He knows you can handle it. Don't feel bad if your reports are pretty normal, okay? You are on the level that you are at. And God is going to use you on that level. Now, how should you handle it if you find out later, when you have come now already on the spiritual attack? What should you do then? Like, let's say you went in, you weren't even aware that you should not have gone into the territory. So you done with your hour. You may not feel the best, but you're walking away from it. And now a couple of days later, it's finally showing up. The attack is showing up, and you can feel, again, being tired, being under attack. the signs of a curse showing up, destruction, theft, conflict in the house, all these things right there, now right there, and you realize, okay, I should not have prayed that. Again, all right? It happens on two levels, and I want you to understand this. There is the demonic level. You should not have gone into this higher level yet because you weren't ready for it. You don't just go and attack the demons unless God leads you that way. You don't go out and go into the cities, or now that we are in lockdown, pray over certain cities and bind all the principalities and demon powers there. Not unless God is leading you this way. So that's one level that we want to look at. And the other one is through people that are lashing back at you right now. So the demonic, what do we do? Pretty simple. James 4 verse 7. Everybody knows that. You submit yourself, therefore, to God. You resist the enemy and he will flee from you. Two actions that need to be taken here. So, we first make right with God again. We submit ourselves, say, sorry, Lord, I missed it. I should not have done that. I went out under your protection. I went my own way in all of this. Right? So we submit ourselves to him. And then we turn against the enemy and we say, I resist you now. I rebuke you, Satan. Where I have given you license, I'm taking that license back again. And you know what? He has to flee from you. You close that door. Well, first we kick the enemy out and then we close that door. And then you should be okay again. When it comes to people, and you have been praying for certain people, and the Lord lets you to intercede for certain people, right? You must break spiritual links with them afterwards. That is so important that you understand this and get into a habit of doing so, right? So God or somebody came to you and they say, hey, while you are on the prayer wall, can you please pray for my need? Because I'm feeling sick, I'm under attack, Satan is just lashing out at me. And so you go into your shift, you take to your watchtower. You're not even checking with the Lord anymore if that's what he wants you to do. No, you just take it into your hands. You overstep the boundaries in that way. And, you come against these things and you bind demons over this person and you bind the attack over that person. And then you go off your shift and the same evening you are getting sick as well. And the same attack that is on this person is coming now on you, all right? Don't do it. You break links with the person afterwards. You hand them over to the Lord. You send back any curses, any attack, anything that came from the person. You rebuke it and send it back again, right? And it's so important. Don't carry burdens that aren't yours to carry. And I know as intercessors, how easily are we doing this, right? We go to the Lord with these loads and we bring everything before him. And sometimes we find ourselves in that trap where we think that we are the saviors. And even more so when you see people and you hear from people that they're going through a hard time right now and you feel like, I just want to help them. I just want to take their loads. There's nothing wrong with having compassion and showing compassion. Don't get me wrong. But you bring it before the Lord and you see if you have a Urim or a Thummim. If he wants you to pray for that need, remember, we never go into any of these shifts with a list. We come there and we see what he wants you to pray for. We come there to get that list from the Lord and to get what he wants us to pray for. If you feel a Thummim, no matter what the situation looks like in the person's life, do not get involved or it will come back on you. You simply hand the person over to the Lord and you let him deal with it. You let him handle it. He is God. He is the Savior, okay? Because if you don't adhere to this, it will lash back on you. And how often do we impose our ministry on other people? And to add one extra here, sometimes we over-identify with people and what they are going through. So they tell you, this is what is happening in my life, and immediately you think, oh, I know what they are going through. Oh, that is so horrible because I experienced this. That means they're going through the exact same thing. Don't you see that they have different circumstances? Don't you see that they have even a different way how they handle certain things? Do not over-identify with people and think you know how it feels for them, right? Because again, in that, you put yourself too much into the situation and you make it your situation, which means you become tired again, you become drained again, and yes, in the end, you standing there feeling tired and drained and useless eventually, under attack, while they are walking off, okay? Nobody cares about you anymore. If God is not leading you into this direction, please just leave it. Just hand them back, break the spiritual links. Anything that comes from them, we send back again. And also, some people, they don't receive what you're giving out or what you're praying for again. Don't impose your ministry. If it's not asked for, you just leave it there, hand it to the Lord. You know how often we go to the Lord and we come with all these heavy burdens and we bring it before Him, and it's like you have this rucksack on your shoulders with all these heavy stones in there, and you come and you pour it out before Him, and you sit at His feet and you plead for people, and then the Lord says, I have it in my hands. Just leave it up to me how I deal with them and how I deal with their situation. Right? And you say, okay, Lord, I trust you. And then you walk away out of it and you check, does He really have it? And you go back again and say, hang on, let me just take these burdens again. And instead of letting them or leaving them at His feet, trusting also that He said He has it, you start to take the burden on you again. And it makes you tired, it makes you feel drained. And yes, you're overstepping the boundaries, and it eventually comes down on you. All right? So, leave it with Him. When you overstepped, make sure we make right with Him, and we resist the enemy, and you will see him flee from you.